Thank you for attending Kentucky Public Pensions Authority Member Self-Service webinar. My name is James Isaacs, and I am a retirement benefit consultant within the Division of Member Services. Joining me today is a KPPA representative that will manage your questions within the Q&A forum. We expect the presentation to last approximately 35 minutes, but we'll stick around as long as we need to ensure all your questions and concerns have been addressed. Please keep in mind that Kentucky Revised Statute 61.661 requires KPPA to administer accounts in a confidential manner. During today's webinar, we discourage you from submitting questions that are specific to your account and ask that you do not post sensitive information like your member ID, Social Security number, or your PIN in the Q&A forum. Of course, if you have specific questions regarding your retirement, please contact us at 1-800-928-4646 to discuss your account with an experienced benefit counselor. During today's webinar, we will have a brief Zoom tutorial. We will discuss how to register for Member Self-Service, how to use the Secure Message Portal, and how to navigate and use the various modules of self-service, including uploading documents to your file, calculating your monthly benefits, or calculating the cost of purchase. We have a lot to cover, but I hope you will find today's webinar valuable and gives you confidence using Member Self-Service and its different processes. At the bottom of your screen, you should see your Zoom toolbar. The three functions available to the attendees are Raise Hand, Q&A, and Reactions. At the far right hand of the toolbar, you'll notice an option to leave meeting. At any time throughout the presentation, you may exit the webinar by clicking Leave. If you are unable to stay the duration of the webinar, we do encourage you to register for another KPA webinar in the future. The question and answer function is used to ask general retirement questions to the KPPA representative. We ask that you be patient with us, but we promise to answer every question before the conclusion of the webinar today. To prevent interruption in the presentation today, we will not use the raise hand function. Q&A ensures that no question will go unanswered, and we encourage you to interact with the KPPA staff. KPPA's Member Self-Service site is a convenient and comprehensive tool that allows users to access their account information at any time. Once registered, active and retired members have 24-hour access to their account information in a mobile, tablet, or PC-friendly format. To navigate to Member Self-Service, a user can navigate to myretirement.ky.gov or to kyret.ky.gov and click the login icon at the top of the page. Doing so will navigate you to the self-service portal. Once you are on the website, you can log in if you've already registered and you know your credentials. If you have not registered, you can click on the Need to Register link to begin the process. If you have registered before, but you do not remember your user ID or your password, you can click on the Forgot User ID or Password link. It is the same process as registration, except it will ask you for some information you have already submitted when you first registered. On the right-hand side of the screen, there are three calculators you can use if you don't want to, or if you can't, register for self-service. These calculators will give retirement or service purchase information based on whatever the user inputs. We're going to assume that the user has not registered before, so we'll start by going through the registration process and clicking on the Need to Register link. The registration process is simple and requires 5 pieces of information: your name, your Social Security number, your date of birth, your 4-digit KPPA PIN, and either a personal or work email address. On the Member Information field, enter your first and last name, then your Social Security number. The self-service registration page is secure and encrypted, so when you enter your Social Security number, it will be masked. There is an eyeball icon in the field if you wish to see what you type in. Next is, this will not be masked. Make certain that you separate the month, day, and year fields and your birth date using the forward slashes. If you wish, you can also use the calendar icon on the right side of the field. Once you have entered the information, click the next icon to move to the next screen. If you should receive an error, verify the information you entered. If you still receive an error, contact our office. There may be an error in your Social Security number or your date of birth. The next screen requires you to enter your 4-digit KPPA PIN. This is a number that has been assigned to you in the past. We usually mailed them. Do not guess what your PIN is. It is not a number you created. If you enter an invalid PIN 3 times, the PIN will be locked and you'll have to request a new one. If you do not know or do not remember your PIN, you can click on the Need a New PIN icon. You will then navigate to a new page where you will have the option to have a new PIN mailed to your home address or emailed securely to your email address if we have one on file. The email address will be partially masked for security purposes. If you choose email, you should have it within a few minutes. If you do not have an email address on file, you will have to have it mailed to your home address, which will take a few days. The PIN, as a security measure, will be masked. There is an eyeball icon in the field if you wish to see what you typed. Once you have entered your 4-digit PIN, click the green Submit button. On the User and Password tab, you'll need to enter an email address. This can be your work email or a personal email address. This will update the email address that we have on file if we have one that is different. The next field will ask you for a user ID. This is of your own choice. It can be any combination of letters, spaces, numbers, or special characters. The only condition is that it must be unique. No one else can have that user ID. The next 2 fields are for your password. We request that you enter it twice to make sure that it is exactly what you want it to be. The password must be a secure password, meaning it must contain at least one number, at least one uppercase letter, at least one lowercase letter, and at least one special character. It also must be at least 8 characters in length. The allowed special characters can be the exclamation point, the @ sign, the pound sign, the dollar sign, or the % sign. These are above 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on your keyboard. Again, these are the only allowed special characters, so you cannot use a period, an asterisk, a plus sign, etc. If the password conditions are not met, or if the 2 passwords do not match, you'll receive an error message at the bottom of the screen and you'll have to type them in again. Last, you'll need to choose a secret question and then answer that question. This will be used to allow you to re-register if you ever forget your user ID or your password. Here you can see a listing of the secret question options. We recommend choosing one that will be easy for you to remember, but difficult for someone else to guess. Once all the fields are completed, click the next icon and you'll enter the self-service portal. Again, if your user ID has been used by someone else, or if the passwords do not meet conditions or do not match, you'll need to fix them first. Occasionally, a screen will pop up that will ask you to verify your contact information. This occurs both for new registrants as well as those already registered. This is done to ensure we have the most up-to-date email and home address for you. If all the information is correct, you can click the Verify button to dismiss. Otherwise, you can update your contact information and then save it using your 4-digit KPPA PIN. You will receive an email from KPPA at your chosen email address verifying registration for Member Self-Service. If you should receive this email and you did not register for Member Self-Service, give us a call at 800-928-4646 to make sure your account has not been compromised. When you first enter the self-service website, the appearance will be different based on if you are using a mobile device or a PC. The PC view will have tiles that link to each of the modules in Member Self-Service, and a navigation bar at the top that will have drop-downs to each of those modules. The mobile view will display the tiles vertically down, and the drop-down is collapsed into a hamburger or a collapsible menu icon. The navigation bar or hamburger will be on each module as you navigate through Member Self-Service. On the navigation bar is a link to return to the home page, to log out of self-service, or to find Site Help. Help is a document that will help members learn how to use the various modules of Member Self-Service. There's also a link that navigates to the Message Center, which is an internal means of KPPA sending messages or forms to you directly. If there is a number displayed that is not 0, this means that you have messages that have been sent to you. The messaging is one way. You cannot send messages or information to KPPA using internal messaging. We'll talk about how to send documentation to KPPA in a few minutes. Also in the menu is an Available Forms drop-down. While this is by no means a comprehensive listing of member forms, these are some that are useful if you're purchasing service or if you wish to update your beneficiary information. These forms have your name and member ID on them and are barcoded with the same information, so do not share them with a friend or a coworker. The Message Center contains letters or forms that have been sent to you electronically from KPPA. If you have no unread messages in your Message Center, there will be a 0 next to the envelope. Here's a screenshot of a member who has no messages. As you can see, there's not much there. If KPPA does send you something via IMC, you will first receive an email at the address on file notifying you that there is something in your internal messaging. There will be no information in the email itself as it is sent unsecurely. When you log into MSS, you'll note that there is now a 1 next to the envelope. This indicates you have an unread message in the Messaging Center. In the Messaging Center itself, you can see that something was sent this morning, and you'll also note that on the right side there's a paperclip, meaning there's an attachment to this message. When you click on the message, a new field will open, and you can read the message and see what attachment has been included. You can choose to delete the message altogether or close it for future reading. The Contact Information field allows you to update your address, phone numbers, and email addresses with KPPA without filling out a paper form. When you enter the Contact Information module, your current mailing address, phone numbers, and email address will display. If you wish to add or edit anything, click the blue icon at the bottom to edit whatever field you wish to change. I have opened the Edit Contact Information field, and if I do choose to add a phone number or change my email address, I need to enter my 4-digit KPPA PIN to verify. If you are an active employee and change your address, make sure you notify your employer of the change. The Account Summary module is an informational page that displays several aspects of your retirement account. At the top of the page is a system selection matrix. If you have more than one membership, you can check or uncheck to see the service in that membership by itself. This will also display the employer that last reported to KPPA on your behalf. Otherwise, only information for active and inactive memberships is displayed. The next section is your membership information. This will display your member ID, a redacted Social Security number, the name we have on file for you, and your date of birth. The next section displays your total account balance. This will include your contributions, interest, and any monies paid for service purchases during your career, broken down by system and plan, as of our last posting date. The fourth section of the account summary page displays your beneficiary information that we have on file. If this information is incorrect, you can complete a new Form 2035 Beneficiary Designation Form to update. If the people listed are correct, but the dates of birth on display show 1/1 of 1800, this is a display issue only. Contact our office to verify we have the correct information on file. Beneath this section is your service summary. This will display your total service as of the end of the previous fiscal year. It updates only once annually. The last section of the module is a service purchase module. This functionality is currently not being used. At the bottom of the page, you have the option of changing your user ID, your password, or your secret question by navigating to that page and updating the information with your 4-digit KPPA PIN. The Account History module gives a detailed breakdown of service you have earned or purchased throughout your participating career. The Account History page is broken down into 2 tabs. One is for service, and one is for contributions. The Service Summary tab displays all salaries for each of the fiscal years you have been participating. Additionally, if you have purchased service, the type of purchase you have made will display in the year you purchased it. The Contribution History tab displays the pre-tax or post-tax contributions you have paid in for each fiscal year based on the 5% or 8% of credible compensation, which is based on if you are non-hazardous or hazardous duty. Additionally, it shows the interest that has been paid into your account at the end of each fiscal year. If you purchase service, the amount that you paid will be displayed in the fiscal year you purchased it. Additionally, if you are a Tier 3 employee, the Contribution History tab will display the employer pay credits and upside sharing interests that have been paid into your account. The Documents module allows users to upload documents from their PC or phone directly to the Account Forms library in our office. The Documents Upload module works much like any other upload program you may have used in the past. Under the Upload section, click the green Upload Document icon. Once you have clicked the icon, a drop-down will appear showing all the different document types that can be uploaded. If your document does not fit one of these categories, you can choose Other at the bottom of the drop-down. Please make note that if you have multiple documents to upload, do not upload them together. Repeat this process for each separate document or form. I am uploading a birth certificate, so I will choose Date of Birth Verification. Once I have chosen that from the drop-down, I will click the Next icon. I now need to find the birth certificate on my device. To do so, click the Choose File icon. I'm going to navigate to the birth certificate saved on my computer and choose it. Once I have chosen it and it appears in the field, I'll click the Next icon. A low-resolution icon will appear showing my document that is to be uploaded. This is to verify that I have selected the correct document. If this is correct, click the Upload icon. Once the document is successfully uploaded, you will receive a success notice. This will also create a note in your file in the KPPA office with a link to the document you uploaded. The Benefit Estimate Calculator module allows users to use real-time information to determine retirement dates and project monthly payments. The Benefit Estimate module is a 5-tab wizard, with each tab building on the previously entered information. You have the ability to add or change information on each tab, or you can leave it alone until you reach the results. To move to the next tab, you need to click the blue Next icon at the top or bottom of each tab. The first tab is your membership information as well as your beneficiary information. If you have multiple systems such as KERS and CERS, you can check or uncheck them to see how it looks to retire if you separate accounts. Only active and inactive membership display. If you should have an external membership, such as Teachers Retirement System, and the information does not display on this screen, you should contact our office so that we can add that service to your file. In the Beneficiary Information section, your primary beneficiary on file will display. If this is not who you want to use as beneficiary in your estimate, You can update it for the estimate only by changing the date of birth and relationship of the person you want to use instead. Also, you can check the drop-down to see if the person you wish to use is listed. If you have no beneficiaries listed, you may want to submit a new Form 2035 Beneficiary Designation Form to our office. Once you have chosen the beneficiary you wish to use, click the next icon at the top or bottom of the screen. The second tab in the Estimate module has two parts. The first part asks you about your leave balances. Your sick leave can be used to either allow you to retire earlier or enhance your benefit if you are a Tier 1 member, or enhance your benefit if you are a Tier 2 member. Additionally, for Tier 1 state employees, any compensatory leave balances paid upon your retirement can be used to enhance your final compensation. If your employer participates in the sick leave program and reports your sick leave to KPPA, your most recently reported balance will display. If the field is blank, you can enter your sick leave balance either in hours or days, in addition to your work hours per day. If there are numbers reported, you can update them to your liking, and the following numbers will reflect those changes. If your agency does not participate in a sick leave program, these fields will not display. Tier 3 members cannot use compensatory leave payments or sick leave in retirement, so this tab will not display at all and will instead display the next field. The second part of the tab allows the user to update service by including a future service purchase, or if the member has an ongoing IPS contract, adding the remaining service and payments. The answers to the questions default to no. If you are not purchasing service, you can click the next icon at the top or bottom of the tab. If you change the service purchase questions to yes, a new field appears. For a Tier 1 or a Tier 2 member, clicking yes to the service purchase question will display a service field for each of the plans administered by KPPA. Enter the months of service you are considering purchasing in the system and plan you will make the purchase and click Next. For a Tier 3 member, clicking yes to the service purchase question will display three fields for all the systems and plans administered by KPPA. The three fields are cost of service, months of service, and when the purchase will be made. Enter the pertinent info for the service purchase in the appropriate fields and click Next to move to the next tab. The third tab will display two different retirement dates: your first eligible retirement date and your first unreduced date. These dates could be changed based on sick leave and service information from the previous tabs. Your first eligible retirement date will be the earliest date you can retire based on either your age or your service. The first unreduced retirement date is the date you can first retire without any early retirement penalties. You'll note in our example that it is March 1st of 2040 compared to March 1st, 2030 for first eligible. Note also that the retirement date is always the first of the month, and the termination date we use is always the last date of the month before your retirement date. If you wish to see a different date than these two, you can enter a termination date, then click the green Calculate Retirement Date icon, and the retirement date field will populate. It has to be after your first eligible retirement date. Make sure that you change the radio button to match what date you wish to use. When you have chosen your retirement date, click Next to move to the next. The fourth tab is for your salary information. The first field on the screen is for your age 62 Social Security payment. This field is typically blank, but if you enter the amount you anticipate drawing from Social Security at age 62, and if you retire before age 62, the estimator will display the Social Security adjustment option on the Results tab. The next field is for your monthly salary. Active employees have their salaries reported by their agencies, and it may be in a monthly, hourly, or bi-weekly format. This is converted by our system into a monthly salary, and this will display in the field. This monthly amount will be projected to your termination date. If the monthly amount is incorrect or if you wish to see a different monthly amount, you can update it. If you wish to modify future salaries with projected raises before you retire, you can assume annual raises by clicking on the Percentage Increases Each Year on Specified Month button. You will then enter the month you receive your annual increment and then a percentage increase for those increments. This will give you that percentage increment each year between now up through your termination date. If you are a Tier 3 member, you also have the option of changing the interest that is paid to your account in future years by updating the upside interest percentage. By default, only 4% base interest is used for future years. In either case, updating your salary, your upside sharing interest, or updating neither, when you are done, click the green icon at the bottom of the page. For Tier 1 and Tier 2 members, the green button states Calculate Final Compensation. For Tier 3 members, the green button states Calculate Accumulated Account Balance. Once you have clicked the green button, your results for Final Compensation or Accumulated Account Balance if you are Tier 3 will display at the bottom of the fourth tab. Final Compensation is one of the three numbers used in the calculation of a Tier 1 or Tier 2 benefit. The Accumulated Account Balance is one of the two factors used in a Tier 3 calculation. The numbers that display are based on your salaries projected through your termination date. If you feel the numbers are incorrect, or if you want to see different numbers altogether, you can click the Override Radio button and enter a new amount. The retirement calculation will use the new amount. Once you have determined that the final compensation or accumulated account balance is correct, click the blue Show Estimate icon. The Results tab will show you several things. First, you will see an overview of the information about your account, the retirement date used, the projected number of months at the time of retirement, your age at retirement, and your beneficiary's age at retirement. At any time, you can go back and change the information on a previous tab, and it will be reflected here as you move forward through the wizard again. Next, hidden behind a collapsible bar is the math that is used to determine your monthly benefit. This will show all of the numbers used to calculate your benefit and the mathematical formula that is used to determine your benefit. If you are a Tier 1 or a Tier 2 member, the estimator will determine if there is a potential pension spike in your last 5 fiscal years' salaries. If the system does detect the possibility of a spike, a screen will appear advising you that there is a potential spike and give a brief description of pension spiking. This does not guarantee that you will have a pension spike when you ultimately retire, and the following results will not reflect any pension spiking. You can look at your salaries on the results page and hopefully notice the salaries that are greater than 10% higher than the previous year, which kicked off the spike. Click the OK icon to dismiss the pension spiking message. There are hyperlinks on the payments, so if you should click on the payment type, it will give you a description of that payment. The monthly amounts are also hyperlinked to a tax calculator, where you can get an idea of how much will be withheld in federal taxes based on your filing status. The Service Purchase module allows you to estimate the cost to purchase service, or if you have received a cost in the past from KPPA's office, it allows you to recalculate the cost yourself. Much like the Benefit Estimate module, the Service Purchase Calculator is a 5-tab wizard in which you can add information until you achieve your results. The first tab is informational only. It displays your date of birth, your participation date, and your service as of the end of the most recent fiscal year. In our example, you can see it as June of 2022. If any of this information is not correct, contact our office. If it is correct, click the blue Next icon at the top or bottom of the tab. On the second tab, you need to choose which service purchase you wish to make. There's a drop-down that will display all the service purchase types available in self-service. This is not every type that we offer, but it does cover most of the service purchase types that we do calculate. Under that, you need to choose the cost calculation date. For service purchases, it must always be the last date of the given month. You can go up to 6 months in advance of today's date. If you choose a service type that is not eligible to purchase, the system will give you an error message. You can see a list of the service purchase types available in self-service. If you are recalculating a cost, it will be shown regardless of the service purchase type. For our example, I have chosen delayed service and a cost calculation date of June 30th of 2023. While a user can use a cost calculation date 6 months into the future, a past date cannot be used. On the third tab, I need to choose a system or plan. If you have service in multiple systems such as CERS or KERS, or multiple plans such as hazardous or non-hazardous, you need to indicate where you wish to purchase it. You can run multiple costs to compare if you are in multiple systems or multiple plans. Click the next icon to continue. If you choose a service purchase that has dates associated with it, you need to enter the beginning and ending dates of that service. This will determine how many months you're eligible to purchase and to see if that period overlaps with any service you already have. Next, the system will determine which is higher, your current rate of pay or your final compensation as of the cost calculation date. If you choose non-qualified service as the purchase type, you only need to indicate how many months you wish to purchase. Yearly increments will appear in a drop-down. You can see in the example that I have entered January 1st through December 31st of 1989. This equals 12 months, or 1 year, and the cost will be based on the amount of $61,015.20. If I feel this is too low, I can override it to a higher amount. I cannot make the amount lower. The fifth tab shows me the results. Based on the age and current rate of pay for this person, 1 year of service will cost $15,187.38. Note that the purchase amount is hyperlinked. This will navigate me to the IPS calculator, which we'll talk about in a little bit. If I want to change any of the numbers in the previous tabs, I can navigate back by clicking the previous tab or click one of the icons in the wizard at the top. If I ever requested and receive a service purchase cost from the KPPA office, I can request a recalculation online. That way, I can see how much to expect if I wish to initiate the cost, and I can request the paperwork be sent to me without having to contact the KPPA office. In the screenshot, you can see that there is a box called "Click here to view purchases you can request immediately." This is available only on members who have seen a cost previously from KPPA. If I should click the box, you can see this member saw 2 different recontribution of refund costs in the past. I'm going to request a recalculation of the 14-month refund cost by clicking the associated radio button. I will then click the next icon to continue. As this is a recalculation, much of the information is already known, so the wizard will jump to the 4th tab. It is display only, so I can click the Show Estimate icon at the bottom to move to the results. The cost to purchase the 14 months of refunded service is based on the amount I was refunded, plus interest between the date I refunded and the cost calculation date. In the example, the total cost is $3,418.44. Note again that the purchase amount is hyperlinked to the IPS calculator. If I wish to initiate the cost and receive paperwork to pay for the service, I need to click the Purchase this service icon. The system is going to ask me if I am sure I wish to make the purchase. I need to click Yes to submit the request electronically to KPPA, and someone from the KPPA office will send me the paperwork to purchase the service via the Secure Messaging module. The IPS calculator allows members who wish to purchase service the ability to see what it would cost to put it on an installment payment plan. There are two ways to enter the IPS calculator. The first is to click on the link on the home page of Member Self-Service, and the other is to click the hyperlink in any cost that you have run in Member Self-Service. IPS is an abbreviation of Installment Purchase of Service. The IPS calculator has a two-tab wizard. On the first tab, the lump sum cost of the service purchase will display. If you have a down payment to make, you can enter it in that field. Additionally, the contract may be run up to 5 years in some conditions. If you choose a period of time that is not eligible for your purchase amount, you will receive an error message and you'll need to correct it. The default percentage on IPS contracts is 7.5%, so leave that as it is. Once you've selected your conditions, click the Calculate icon. The Results tab will show your principal, your monthly payment amount, and the total you will pay with accumulated interest included. There is an amortization schedule that you can open and print that will show you a breakdown of each monthly payment. Bear in mind the IPS calculator does not review costs for eligibility, nor does it take into account any ability to use before tax or after tax amounts in your monthly payments. The Account Balance Letter module allows you to send someone or send yourself your current account balance and service months as of the most recent posting date. If you or someone else need your account balance for financial or legal purposes, or if you just want to know, you can choose to have it physically mailed, emailed, or sent to your secure messaging portal via the View Print button. If you wish to mail your account balance letter, you need to enter the mailing address of the recipient, even if it is yourself, and enter your 4-digit KPPA PIN. If you wish to email the account balance letter, you need to enter the email address of the recipient twice and enter your KPPA PIN. If you wish to view or print it yourself, choose the View Print icon, enter your PIN, and it will be sent to your secure messaging portal for review or printing. The Annual Statement module shows an overview of recent annual statements. When you enter the Annual Statement module, links to the annual statements will display. When you click the select icon in the given row, the annual statement will open, showing you a snapshot of your account information at that time. Tier 1 and Tier 2 annual statements since 2012 are displayed in a PDF format. Tier 3 annual statements, which have been in effect since 2019, will open in a separate web page. The Apply for Retirement module is a means for you to file your retirement application online in lieu of completing a paper form. We have a demonstration of the module in our Ready to Retire webinar. The seminar registration page allows the user to register for pre-retirement sessions or outreach seminars when available. Currently, there are no seminars available, and the screen will indicate that there are none available. When we do have these available, you'll be notified via email to register. The last thing to do in self-service is to log out. For security purposes, we recommend that you always log out of your self-service session when you are complete. There is a logout button in the top of the nav bar to the right, or it is the last link in the expanded menu if you are using a mobile device. Additionally, there is a timer that you will always see in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. After 15 minutes of inactivity, you will automatically be logged out. Our legal notice concludes our member self-service webinar. We will stick around as long as needed to answer your questions. This, of course, is intended for general information reference only, so if you do have specific questions regarding your account, please contact us at the 1-800 number listed on the screen. On behalf of myself and the other TPA staff, we wish you well and thank you for attending today's webinar.